To the ones keeping shelves full and keeping us hopeful. To those who don't stop and those making all the stops. To the ones who pick up, suit up, and never let us down. From all of us at Dunkin' to all the heroes keeping everyone running, we thank you.
OnSideRadio.com knows gamers need a home.
Can you dig it?
That's why for the next 60 seconds,
Can you count, suckers?
here's your Onside Radio E-Report with Kai Chen Chisholm.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin, a striker for Everton, has now donned himself onto esports. He's become an esports ambassador for Semper Fortis, and this is a big announcement as it's yet another player in big name sports getting into esports. He made a comment on this saying, quote, esports has been on my radar for quite a while now, and I'm excited to take my first steps into the space with Semper Fortis. As an athlete, being competitive is part of my DNA, so it's great to be an ambassador for a brand that is striving for the best. Again, this is very huge for esports as you get yet another big name player, especially in Europe in the world of football, into the esports game, getting everything they possibly can developed into it so that not only is it looked at by someone that guys like myself, Michael, and Toast love to play on a daily basis, but by everybody worldwide.
Stay in touch in the world of gaming with the Onside Radio E-Report.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of Onside Radio ownership, management, sponsors, websites, or Inter Miami Marketing, LLC.
It's time for Kai's Corner on OnSideRadio.com. To talk to Kai, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. To reach out on the text line, it's 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Kai Chen Chisholm on your home for sports talk, OnSideRadio.com.
Good morning here at beautiful Drive Pink Stadium. I am that man, Kai Chen Chisholm. Of course, you can always follow me on Twitter at Samurai Radio. That's at SAMURAIIRADIO. Joining me, as always, the producer of all producers, the host of the Square Circle Digest, the one who knows all about thy wrestling, Mr. Sean Stanley.
The pleasure is all mine, Mr. Kai Chen Chisholm.
It is the beginning of June, Sean.
It is June 1st.
We are finally here. Summertime is here. You know, the National Weather Service tweeted out this morning, it's hurricane season officially, and it has been pouring rain all morning.
Has it been raining?
Yeah.
I have not even looked outside. The nice shade here. You know, I don't even know. Didn't know how bad it was out there.
Oh no, it was pretty bad. When I was driving this morning to get here, I almost considered turning around because I could not see anything. It was quite dark and the rain was coming down pretty hard. And very thankful that I got new tires last week, and very thankful that I got new windshield wipers last week, or else I would have been in a real bad situation.
And I'm thankful for a shade above and Bandalux because now I don't have to look at the weather outside because I'm looking at this beautiful shade of OnSide Radio.
You can just see it in all of its beauty. All of its beauty in that little, or not little, but, you know, the pink and black. It looks great. But we got a great show today. We're going to have on Ethan Skolnick at 10:34. And then, of course, we'll have our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report with Omar Kelly. That'll be at 11:30. So pretty much like third segment in each hour there, hour 1 and hour 2. So you can come along and have a good old time with us as we talk with Ethan and as we talk with Omar. And with Omar, of course, about the Dolphins, Ethan about the Heat and all the embarrassment that has kind of gone down and happened with the Miami Heat. But there's a lot that's been happening in the world of sports really recently, and there's a lot that I want to touch on today that hopefully I get to. We touched on it with Toast in the crosstalk. I really want to get into the Carlo Ancelotti stuff because he is going to most likely inevitably leave Everton and then end up at Real Madrid again. And I want to touch on it because I'm not sure how I feel on that, but that'll be a little bit later. Also, the U21 Euros yesterday was fantastic. I mean, there were 3 outstanding games, so I want to talk about that. Then, of course, our roundtable. Joel Embiid got hurt again. But one that I think is extremely important, and I don't even want to try to paraphrase anything here, so I want to make sure that I get everything from the source. I don't want to paraphrase, don't want to try to twist words around. But pretty much Naomi Osaka announced at about 2 p.m. yesterday that she was going to not participate in this upcoming tournament. She already had mentioned that she wasn't going to do any media appearances, and she said if she was fined, I believe it was going to be upwards of $20,000, that she would, pay the fine, whatever it was, and then kind of ask that they go out of their way to put that towards mental health, and they go out of their way to make sure that, it just anything, go out of your way to put that towards mental health. She goes on in a statement that she released on her Twitter. She says, quote, "The truth is that I have suffered long bouts of depression since the U.S. Open in 2018, and I have had a really hard time coping with that. Anyone that knows me knows I'm introverted, and anyone that has seen me at the tournaments will notice, that I'm often wearing headphones, as that helps dull my social anxiety." She talks about the tennis press, how they've always been kind to her, and she wants to apologize to any journalists that she might have hurt. She says she's not a really big speaker. She says that she gets waves of anxiety when she speaks to the world's media. She gets nervous. She tries to find her best answers. And she said, quote, "Here in Paris, I was already feeling vulnerable and anxious, so I thought it was better to exercise self-care and skip the press conferences. I announced it preemptively because I do not feel the rules are quite outdated in parts, and I wanted to highlight that. I wrote privately to the tournament apologizing and saying that I'd be more than happy to speak with them after the tournament, as the slams are intense." And then she said she's going to take time away from the court, and when the time is right, she wants to come back to do tour to discuss ways that they can make things better for players, press, and fans. I've seen a lot of positives from this. I really think I have seen way more positives than I have negatives, and that, to me, is one of the most surprising things out of all of it. I think that one of the biggest things that I've kind of come away with here, just in the time that I've been on this earth, and I guess especially here in the past few years, has been that not a lot of people are very open to understanding someone's mental health, is what I've learned very quickly. And not a lot of people are very okay with the understanding side of things, and okay with kind of how another person is, how their body works, how their mind works, and how things around them work. And not a lot of people can understand that. I mean, even if one person has gone through something, there's times where that person could maybe deny that, or they can go ahead and say that what they went through was worse than what, person B went through. And then so what person A went through matters more than what person B went through. So person B shouldn't be complaining. And there's a lot that goes into it. And I think sometimes people don't kind of come to that realization that they're really, like, they're going through it. That's a big expression with, people my age, is kind of, how are you? Well, I'm going through it right now. And it's just kind of saying, like, it's a little rough right now. I'm going through it. I'm trying to get, the best that I can. And it's a little, I'm dealing with some stuff is kind of the best way to put that there. And, when I see Naomi Osaka come out and talk about her own mental health, that's something for me that I think was a topic of conversation merely last week, right? When it came to Kwame Brown, and he was talking about his mental health, and everyone was kind of, and things that happened to him as he was going through the stuff that he was going through while he was in the NBA. Whether he was a good player, whether he was a bad player, doesn't really matter. Just how he was going through everything. I mean, he was talking about his mental health stuff. He was talking about the player stuff. He was doing everything. And, of course, he was getting more slammed on the player things than he was the mental health things. But I think this is great, I think, for sports, to be able to openly come out and, kind of say, I think that I'm going to have to step away for a little bit, and I can openly say this, and I can openly be able to go, you know what? Like, I need time. Like, I need time, and it's going to be better for me. It's going to be better for my mental health. It's going to be better for my, like, everything going down the line for me. That is huge. I mean, just as someone, definitely not, I would say, to the way that Naomi Osaka is saying how she's been dealing with long bouts of depression since 2018 at that U.S. Open. And, like, I'm definitely nowhere close to that. But as someone who's kind of gone through their own sort of battles with their own mental health and myself, it's like, you do need that time. You do need to be able to take that step back and to be able to kind of not only like take yourself into the now, but take yourself in the future, the past, anything that's bothering you, and kind of how I've dealt with things. Like other people deal with things completely differently, but I'm just talking about myself. I think that it's good to see this because it also tells other people who might not be able to, speak out about it. It tells other people who might be struggling themselves, maybe even harder or just as much as you, or whatever it is, even if it's something small. This isn't like, oh, my car broke down and like I need like 10 days, whatever. This is not like that kind of, I guess, somehow like when the people look at it kind of like white privilege sort of thing. This is that, player coming out and speaking out about their mental health and saying, I can't. And being able to have someone that big. I mean, Naomi Osaka, I think, defied. It's kind of like what we saw for so long with Serena Williams. It's like, yeah, and Tiger with golf. It's like there are players that, yes, they play tennis, they play golf, and these are kind of those sports that are less mainstream here in the United States. In Europe, very big, but in the United States, not much. And they defy it, and they break barriers from where they're currently at, because you can say Naomi Osaka and a lot of people know who you're talking about. I would say a majority of people know who you're talking about. You say Serena Williams, everybody knows who you're talking about. And I think Naomi Osaka is kind of starting to get to that point. I believe like in terms of tennis, she's like kind of that next up and comer of person to come in. I think that when we talk about this, to have her come out and speak about her mental health is huge. And it's just someone who is being able to come out and say what they're doing and is able to really just kind of give everyone that sort of thing where it's like, I might have whatever amount of money. I might be living this life that you look at that's fantastic. And then I work so hard for it and this and this and this. But you know what? I'm still the same normal person that you are. I'm still going through the same thing that you go through on a daily basis. And you can talk about it. You can reach out to other people. You can kind of admit to the world, just like I have, because it takes like strength and courage. I mean, to really be able to go out there and say everything that is going on in your mind and really put that out there. It's hard enough to go around and tell a couple of people. To go out there and really broadcast that to the world, whether you're Naomi Osaka or someone like me and Sean, I guess is the best way to say it, in terms of like not that level of, huge amounts of popularity. Like it takes a lot to really go out there and to say what's wrong. And I think that I wanted to open with that because I think it's awesome. I like, not obviously the situation is not awesome. What she's going through is not awesome. But I think her being able to go out and say something, her being able to go out and talk to the world about it, essentially, I think is great for advancements and people being able to open up with themselves what they're going through, and for people to be able to see that someone else is going through it that is in a way more privileged position than they are. And I think that that's awesome. Like, I think it's awesome that we're becoming more open with mental health and people can become more open about it, because your brain is a powerful thing, and you can sometimes convince yourself that things that are going on in your life are horrible, and sometimes they might not be, and sometimes they might be. And then when you're in that spot and you're convinced that things are bad all the time, it just makes it worse. It makes it worse and worse, and you continue to drive yourself into a hole, and it's not good. So I think that that's one thing that I'm personally, as someone who had to take that step to kind of go out and let people know, hey, I'm dealing with some stuff, and I'm coming on kind of like a year now since I was able to kind of put that out there and feel confident about putting that out there without feeling bad about myself. I think it's awesome, and I think it's great for other people. Obviously, I hope that Naomi Osaka can get through what she's getting through and can get her mental health on the right track, because over anything else, your brain and your health and your mental health is more important than anything else in this world. It's more important than any dollar you could ever make. I hope that she gets through it. I just think it's great that there's someone that's speaking out about it, and that is in the sports world, because it'll give other people who might be in the sports world and going through it as well that courage to kind of take that extra step and to really talk about what they're going through. And I hope that Naomi Osaka can come back even stronger and build on her mental health and be the best her that she can possibly be, and that we'll be able to see a great future for that. So I wanted to open with that. We're going to get into the Miami Heat in the upcoming segment as we lead into talking with Ethan Skolnick here right after we have the sports update at about 10:34 there, when Sean Stanley gets to bless the airwaves with his voice. Florida Panthers fans have a place to call home every Saturday morning, as Cats insider David Dwork will host Chirping the Cats Radio every Saturday at 10 a.m. Onside Radio is committed to all sports, and now Panthers fans can connect every Saturday from 10 to 11 with David Dwork on the home for Panthers fans worldwide, OnsideRadio.com.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
If you're looking for a change from the everyday restaurant, then you need to get to Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach. Brats, Wiener Schnitzel, homemade potato pancakes, pretzels with mustard, and lots of German beer. And with daily specials, there is something for everyone. If you're up for a challenge, you should take their famous boot tour. Finish 30 boots of different varieties of German beer, and you'll receive half price on their beer for life. And you'll get to take home your own boot and Checkers Old Munchin t-shirt. They also have outdoor seating available in their new beer garden with live music, as well as carry-out, curbside pickup, and delivery. So, for the finest German food and beer, get over to 2209 East Atlantic Boulevard in Pompano Beach. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Checkers Old Munchin Restaurant, or call them for reservations at 954-785-7565. That's 954-785-7565. We'll see you at Zagat-rated Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
WLEN, broadcasting from a largely empty building.
And we do sports. It's just not local.
Shush, honey.
Why is the building empty?
Because whether it be budget cuts or stupid management, we've fired almost everybody.
Ooh, but we still have our job live and local.
At least the building is.
We've got your sports.
South Florida's choice for sports talk. OnsideRadio.com.
When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than the roof above the people you love. At Onside Radio, we recommend Chase Roofing and Contracting. At ChaseRoofing.com, they care about the customer. Chase Roofing provides reliable roof installation and repair without the destruction to our environment. Chase Roofing is powered by Tamara, who is owner and operated for 18 years. ChaseRoofing.com is Google top rated and a AAA standing with the Better Business Bureau. Open 24/7. Call them today. Trust ChaseRoofing.com to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family. This Inter Miami CF Minute is brought to you by Stout Bar and Grill in Oakland Park. With over 40 TVs, Stout is the home for soccer around the world and a great place to watch Inter Miami CF. Stout features Clonakilty Whiskies, the world's best Irish whiskey.
A name that was left out of the loss to DC United at Drive Pink Stadium on Saturday night was Rodolfo Pizarro for the second time in a row. He missed the Chicago game and did not make the trip due to a so-called injury. And again, due to a so-called injury, Rodolfo Pizarro was not in the starting 11 or even in the squad. We have to hope that our third DP is okay. After not being called up to El Tri, the Mexican national team, and now with a couple of injuries, hopefully he can come back a lot stronger than he did after his poor performances this season and really make an impact for a team that needs him.
Keep up with the latest on La Rosa Negra by subscribing on most platforms. Search Onside Radio. Let's get back to Kai's Corner. You can send Kai a text at 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Kai Chen Chisholm.
All right. I mentioned that we were going to talk about the Heat, and I think in the later half of this segment, we will get to it. But I was asking Sean his thoughts because Ariel Helwani has pretty much said that and he reported this about 20 minutes ago, said Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley is a done deal. Both men have signed. Says the 190-pound match is currently slated for August 28th. Sources say a 20-by-20 ring with 10-ounce gloves, pro bout. First booking reported by Mike Coppinger. What do you I was saying that I personally, and that's why I asked Sean, because I was saying that personally, I don't think that I could live with the fact that I was beat and or knocked out by Jake Paul. That I think is just like, it's Jake Paul. I personally am not, like, I can't do that. But Sean had a different way of looking at that, so I did want to kind of bring that in here.
No, I think, again, these guys are making more in these fights against Jake Paul than they make, some of them, in their careers.
Well,
doing
boxing
MMA
makes
fighting.
more than MMA in general, does it not? Like,
no, yeah, definitely, and then also, a lot of the you can't really, the sponsors, they don't have anymore in MMA. You used to be able to sell your trunks, at least in UFC. I think Bellator and them, you used to be able to sell, the patches on your trunks and everything else. So you can make more money that way, boxing. But again, I think a fighter's mentality is you go in there knowing that, hey, at one punch could end. So you don't go in there thinking that, oh, how embarrassed am I going to be if I lose to this guy? One, you're probably not thinking you're going to lose the guy. But also, too, in the back of your mind, you have to know one punch changes everything.
Yeah. I mean, it really does change. I think about it, and I'm just like, man, it's Jake Paul. Like, that's why, like, I think Logan I don't know. Like, I feel like it's different with Logan now because, Logan has rebuilt his reputation. Logan has kind of rebuilt himself from the incident in Japan. So I think that they are, going to be in a better system, or like or not a better system, but he's better now than he was before. And especially in the eyes of the media, I think that Logan is definitely much better now than he was before. But man, Jake, like, that's the one. I just don't know, man. Like,
we got to remember
Jake
too,
Paul.
Jake is the bigger boxer. He's the better
No,
boxer.
I know, yeah. Everyone
than
says
Logan.
he's the better one than Logan, yeah.
And he's actually fought people. I mean, not YouTube guys.
Oh, yeah, but Logan got his behind kicked by KSI in both of those fights. Of course, the first one, it was, it was a draw. We're going to do it again in LA, obviously, for, monetary gain. But the second one, he got beat. Like, KSI beat him both times. But even then, like, the first fight that Jake did, he did it against KSI's younger brother, Deji, and he was getting it taken to him. And then Jake just kind of had that stamina, I guess, wherewithal to kind of stay up. But I just, again, it's Jake Paul. Like, I think that's what really gets me is I can't with him. I would feel less embarrassed if I lost to Logan than I would Jake. And I know that Jake is better.
Why is that? Why?
Because Logan, in the YouTube world, Sean, like, Jake Paul is very bad. Like, it's just having...
Yeah, but he's at least got skills to box.
Yeah, but, like, it's...
But you're more worried about losing to...
Well, it's just because everybody that knows Jake Paul in the YouTube landscape wants to be the one to knock him out. So I think, like, imagine if you're the one that's sitting there and you're like, I'm going to be the one to knock him out. And then once you lose, it's just, like, we haven't heard from... I mean, Nate Robinson took it like a champ, right? But we haven't heard from Ben Askren since. Now, of course, you mentioned to me,
he's spending his money he got.
Yeah, you get the check and you're fine, but...
Dude, did you see what Ben Askren, when he weighed in? He looked like he ate Ben Askren. He wasn't in shape. That was just he just did it for the payday.
I mean, I want to see how much Ben Askren made from that. Because I feel like it depends with, like, what's happening. Like, if he got a very significant check, he got $500,000 from fighting Jake Paul.
that was from the fight, not including the sponsors and everything else.
Yeah, I know. He got 190,000 less in terms of salary from that, but they all made less than Regis Prograis.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, I mean 500,000.
What was it? 2 rounds he went? 1 round? What did he go?
I think it was 1. Like I even like the highlights. It's like less than 4 minutes.
Yeah, you walked out to the ring for $500,000.
That 500,000 is a little. I do have to think about that.
And again, that's based. That doesn't include any whatever he made off of sponsors for that fight.
That's true. What's the limit that you think you go to, Sean? Like, let's say like you have to get like knocked out, like straight up knocked out by some I don't know, any like MMA fighter or anyone that's like super huge, or let's say it's like well, I guess Muhammad Ali was like boxing, but either like instead of like MMA. Let's say it's Muhammad Ali gets to knock you out, or like.
Now, am I throwing the fight or am I taking the punch?
Like you're taking the punch.
Oh.
What's like the limit of like the money that you need, like the bare minimum to take that? Because that's gonna hurt. Like,
well, yeah, but you're gonna have a hospital bill probably too, a jaw and everything else. I don't know.
I'm thinking
about that.
Thinking like at least like $2 million. I feel like that's like a minimum, like a good minimum there, because they can make. I mean, didn't like Floyd and Manny Pacquiao make like 40 or something each? It was something along those lines. I feel like 2 is a good barrier there, because, and if you're, oh man, I need to ask this question on Twitter later too. And if you're listening and watching in the YouTube comments, I encourage you to join on this conversation, because I would love to hear your thoughts. Of course, by the time you hear me and by the time I read the thing, we'll probably be into the conversation with Ethan, but I do want to know, and we'll touch back on it maybe a little bit later. But like I feel like $2 million is a good little barrier there. Like that I think is a good one. $2 million, get knocked out, you're thinking probably what, like maybe 50,000 in like hospital bills, probably a little bit less than that, maybe a little, who knows. Anything like
Let's do this in 3 fights, in 3 UFC fights. How much do you think Askren made?
Total?
Yeah.
5 million?
830,500.
No way.
Yep, and he made 500,000 for 2 minutes boxing. Paul.
800,000, and you said 5 fights?
In his 3 UFC outings.
That's still pretty damn good. I mean, it's obviously it's not
good
great,
money, but again,
damn,
he went into a boxing fight and made almost more. And again, that's just the base. That's just base what he took home. That doesn't include, again, we're talking about sponsors and everything else. 2 minutes, he made $500,000. Think about this,
man.
And he didn't even train. So he didn't spend money on training or anything else.
But like, he also didn't get like that. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you had to get like knocked out by like one of the best fighters that's ever crossed the face of the earth, like, what is your bare minimum that you'd have to get paid?
It's got to be. You're looking at millions, because I'm gonna have to probably pay doctor's bill.
You're thinking
and
it's
everything else.
Like, you think hospital bill's gonna be like what, like 50,000, maybe 100,000, something like that.
Depends where I'm at. I mean, because again, wherever you fight, you can't fly after surgery, so you're stuck wherever. I got to be up in penthouses.
As you can't speak with your jaw wired shut.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking you're right. Probably about $2 million.
Yeah,
good. Now, if I can go into it knowing that it's going to be a thrown fight where I'm going to, take the punch and, go with the punch so I don't take a broken jaw or something like that. Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, I don't. Like, it's like you're fighting, but like, let's say you just know. Like, you're going into the fight, you're going to be fighting, you're going to be putting up your effort, right? But you know that at the end of the day, like, you've seen the future already. You know, at the end of the day, you have to be knocked out on the floor in order to earn that paycheck. Like, you can't lose by decision. You have to be knocked out. Like, referee looking at you saying there's no shot that Sean Stanley can continue the match. I feel like $2 million definitely has to be like the bare minimum, because I think, I don't know, I wouldn't be able to do it for anything less. $2 million, I'm probably thinking like we're at least taking half, like a 500,000 or something into hospital bills, staying in the area that I'm at, maybe re-checkups, and then that other 1.5, I'm taking like maybe 500,000 of it, investing it, the other million, letting it sit in like a savings or something. Maybe like I get like an apartment, like that's about it. Like so I can be staying in an apartment and no longer, having to do that. Pay off my student loans, which is only at 20,000. So pay off like 20,000 student loans, 500,000 probably. Like I'm sure 500,000 is like over embellishing it as well. 500,000 in hospital bills and where you have to stay and flights. I'm thinking like that. It's like 520,000, and you put so I'm spending like $1,020,000, and I still got what 980,000 left. I'm good with that. And I can just put that in the savings, let it sit. I'm very interested in what other people think. I'm definitely gonna have to tweet this out as well. But if you're in the YouTube comments and you're watching along, let me know what you think. How much would it take for you to get just absolutely knocked out? I'd have to say either like by Muhammad Ali, or the name is leaving my brain right now. That bit the dude in the ear. Mike Tyson. There you go. I knew it was Tyson something. I was thinking like Tyson Fury. I don't know why, but even Tyson Fury is a big dude. Imagine getting knocked out by Tyson Fury. That guy's huge. Anyways, all right. Well, we're going to talk with Ethan Skolnick here coming up next. And Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m., baseball fans go deep into the count with Alex Aguirre. Catch a show that talks Marlins and all the big stories in the major leagues every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. Seamheads, you have a new home. Listen to Deep Into the Count exclusively on Onside Radio.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
When you want a perfectly straight smile without braces, you can count on MoodiasDental.com. A stunning smile is within reach. Learn more about Invisalign. Find out why so many trust the Moodias family. Dr. Moodias is an inventor and has several patents on innovative surgical instruments that are used around the world. Experience a family environment and trust on a worldwide level. From implants to crowns to a beautiful Invisalign smile. Call 305-821-0231. That's 305-821-0231. Or go to the website at MoodiasDental.com.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Miami Lakes location at 15462 Northwest 77th Court, located in the Ryan Oaks Plaza. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available, from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
WLESPN. We've got all your sports.
We're live and local.
If you wake up early enough.
You're so bad, honey.
Tune us in, as long as you're not under a bridge.
Or under any power line.
Ain't it awful?
South Florida's choice for sports talk. OnSideRadio.com.
Hey, it's Toast, and no doubt last year hurricane season was one of the craziest we've ever seen. Well, Noah's saying once again, going to be another active season, so you need to call B&T Windows and Doors today and get PGT custom windows and doors installed like I did, so that you are fully protected. Listen, there's no better peace of mind than PGT custom windows and doors when you're in the cone of death for a Category 5 storm. Call B&T Windows and Doors today to get set up. 954-233-0126. That's 954-233-0126.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
When you're looking to add that extra style and protection for your home or business, visit A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie or Sunrise, where plantation shutters are a major part of our business, and they look great in any home. We have them in white, stained colors, and wood tones. We can even motorize your shutters like the one in the OnSideRadio.com studio. A Shade Above Window Fashions, 954-434-4774. That's 954-434-4774. Love the space you live in. A Shade Above Window Fashions.
keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnSideRadio.com sports update.
The Marlins are back on the field tonight. They head to Buffalo to take on the Toronto Blue Jays. Sandy Alcantara will be on the mound for the Fish. First pitch scheduled for, wait for it, 7:07. That's right, 7:07 first pitch. Last night in the NBA playoffs, the Washington Wizards, they stayed alive with a 122-114 win over the 76ers. Joel Embiid left the game late in the first quarter with a sore right knee. And also last night, the Utah Jazz took commanding 3-1 lead after a 120-113 victory over the Memphis Grizzlies. Tonight, Brooklyn looks to eliminate the Celtics at 7:30. The Nets 12.5-point favorites. Portland-Denver tip-off at 9, series tied 2-2. Nuggets 1.5-point favorites. And your Lakers Suns, they tip off at 10. The Suns a 5-point favorite. AD is questionable for the game, and as talked about during segment 1, if you missed any of that, check out the Kai Korner podcast. Naomi Osaka has withdrawn from the French Open. Coming up next, the great Ethan J. Skolnick will join Kai in Kai's Corner. You are listening to the locally owned South Florida sports talk station. This is OnSideRadio.com.
Let's get back to Kai's Corner. You can send Kai a text at 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Kai Chen Chisholm.
All right. Getting ready to talk to, as Sean said, the great Ethan Skolnick. Of course, the man, a part of 5 Reasons Sports, or the man of 5 Reasons Sports. What's up, Ethan?
Are you guys contractually obligated to say that? Because when Sean called me, he's like, the great Ethan, and I'm like, dude, that's the one thing I got when I left Onside Radio's host? Was that you're forced to call me great? I don't know if I wrote that into it. Well, I didn't have a contract, but I don't know if that was written into a contract or something.
It was the great Ethan J. Skolnick. It was the great one.
Okay. Well, it's good to know that, okay, I guess I'll build that into all future contracts. I appreciate that.
So it has to be, as soon as you come on to it, they have to say the great Ethan J. Skolnick.
Yeah, it's like the Ohio State University. Exactly.
Oh, God,
right.
yeah. But then that one's more pretentious and annoying. But, Ethan, I want to get into Heat Talk, but I have to ask you, because it was a topic of conversation here in the last segment, what is the minimum amount of money that it would take for you to get knocked out by either Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson?
I was recently divorced, so I need to replenish some funds. Let's see. Wow.
Me and Sean said $2 million, like bare minimum.
Yeah, I don't think that would even. I don't
really.
I mean, I've done some crazy things. I mean, jumped into lakes, in the middle of the night in Colorado, and I've done, but wow. I've hired some people at 5 Reasons that you'd have to pay me $2 million to bring them on again. No, I think I say $5 million. $5 million.
$5 million?
That's generational. Yeah, I mean, $2 million is not generational. I mean, $5 million at least. I'd be in some kind of business. I mean, I'd also be dead. So, I mean, it would go. Is it going to go to my daughter?
I mean, I guess, yeah, technically, yeah.
That's fine. I mean, she'll be fine with it. I mean, she'll miss her daddy for a little bit, but then, if she gets a new Roblox T-shirt, she'll be okay. So, yeah, I would say $5 million.
All right. So, Ethan, I mean, kind of listen. The Heat, I think they were disappointing really all season. Everyone knows this, and everone's kind of been talking about
being punched in the face. Go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the perfect transition. So, I mean, what do you make of just the series in general? I think everything that continued to get down to was embarrassing.
I mean, I was the only one on 5 on the floor that picked the Bucks. So, yeah, I mean, I think that they basically expended their last bit of energy in Game 1. I mean, I mean, we can look at all the other series, but I think this was a tired team that was also overmatched, so I think it could be both. And I just think they gave it their best punch in game one, and they didn't get it. I think if they get that game, they probably still lose the series. But I think it's a longer, it goes 6. I think they get another one. Once they lost that one, I think it was like, okay. I mean, and then when things got away in game 2, and then, game 4 was kind of a microcosm of the series and the season. Like they started well, and then, if you had, I just regret that I didn't do this. Although you can't place a bet while in the arena, unfortunately. Someday you'll be able to. But I regret that at halftime I didn't go to one of our betting sites and put some money on the Bucks, because, you just knew that lead was going to disintegrate within a few minutes, and in 3 minutes it was gone. And once the lead was gone, did anybody in the building think the Heat were winning that game?
I don't think anyone thought in general that they were going to win that game 4. I think it was just people who were really trying to be overly positive.
Yeah, and like I said, they got off to a good start. So, I think you could say, okay, they'll get one. Washington got one last night, although a lot of that was Embiid being out. But look, they didn't have enough against this team. Milwaukee's better. I hated the matchup this season. I kept telling people, we beat the Bucks last year. It's not the same Bucks team. Not only do they add a Holiday, they added Forbes, they added Portis. Giannis is a year better. Middleton was at the same level or better. The idea, and Brook Lopez was still there. So, the idea that, who did the Bucks lose from last season? Like Eric Bledsoe, who was awful in the playoffs, and that was addition by subtraction. George Hill. So to me, they got beat by a better team, but also, there was some serious flaws exposed this season, and they're going to have to address those flaws coming up, because if Jimmy and Bam are going to be your 2 best players, you can win, but you need a certain kind of team around them. It's not. There are very few teams in the NBA whose 2 best players are not at least one of them is not a 3-point shooter. So if those are going to be the 2 best players, you have to have elite 3-point shooting around them. And they didn't this season. They had really one guy, Duncan, and they had none for spurts, Dragic for spurts, Hero for very short spurts. And that was pretty much it. So, you need 2 or 3 elite knockdown shooters to make it work with Jimmy and Bam as your 2 best players, and they just didn't have them.
Do you think that a majority of the players from this team are still here next season?
Maybe half. Pat, when Pat does his, it usually takes a second. He usually sticks around too long with the team. He's more sentimental than people make him out to be. He's not as cutthroat. But now, the rubber meets the road, right? So, I think Duncan Robinson's probably back. I do think that they retain him. I think they try to get him done before he goes out and gets an offer. I think that's the prudent thing to do. Kendrick Nunn, I think they'll let him shop around. And my guess is he'll probably get an offer that's too rich for their blood. Oladipo, they're down on him. I think he would have to agree to a pretty significant pay cut from what he was anticipating. It's not a bad idea to keep the asset if the asset is cheap. Hero, look, a lot of this is up to Tyler. Like, Tyler has to get in the weight room this offseason. That's what they were frustrated about. It's not him caring about the craft. He likes balling. He just doesn't like the other stuff, from what I've heard. And some teammates were a little frustrated with that, in addition to the team. So he's got to get stronger. They got to take some stuff off his plate. They have to just, look, you score, okay? Score, all right? Figure out a way to score, get comfortable. But, yeah, I think they're going to make a run at Kyle Lowry. They will investigate Kawhi and some of these others, but I would anticipate that probably Iguodala is probably going to be in Golden State or retired. And I think they try to bring Ariza and Dedmon back on cheap deals.
Okay. So, all right, so you mentioned the Tyler stuff, right? And I kind of want to get into that with you here. We're talking with Ethan Skolnick, of course, the guy of 5 Reasons Sports. Yes, Sean? Oh, because I didn't say the great Ethan Skolnick. There you go.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, it's like Simon Says.
Yeah, sorry. And Sean looked over at me, and I was like, what did I do? Okay, so what do you make of Tyler? Do you think they'll try to trade him? What do you think the outcome is going to be with Tyler?
I don't think they're trying to trade. Again, like this whole thing, like trying to trade, like, everybody's always available except maybe a couple guys on each team, right? So Jimmy Butler's not available. Bam is probably not available, although if there's a conversation of Kawhi and someone else, then I think maybe that's a conversation they have. They almost traded Bam for Kawhi. Well, they put him in the deal for Kawhi before he went to Toronto because that was a different Bam. But I think everybody else is on the table. I mean, why wouldn't they be? I mean, you're the only team that got swept in the first round. You can't sit here and say, okay, if not for this, if not for that, if not for COVID, I mean, we would have been, maybe it might have been different, but you also can't look at the young cores in Philadelphia and the older cores, but extremely talented cores in Milwaukee and Brooklyn and say we're close. I don't think they're close. I think they recognize that. And so if you have to give up Tyler Hero, who may turn into be a good scorer in this league, but obviously is challenged defensively, is not a polished ball handler at this stage, and his timeline probably doesn't match up with Jimmy's, then you investigate it. But, again, it's this, stupid debate about, they wouldn't give up Hero for Harden. No. First thing, it wasn't Hero for Harden. It was Hero and the whole damn team except Jimmy and Bam for Harden, okay? And even that wasn't going to entice Houston because Houston wanted picks, which they didn't have. So, I mean, this is kind of this language game. It's like, our guy Greg Sylvander, tweeting out about how, they don't think they need a fix, beyond Jimmy and Bam. And all he was saying, and, maybe it wasn't, in retrospect, the most elegantly worded way to put it, but all Greg was saying, because I know his information, is that they're saying they think they can win with the two of them. I mean, that doesn't mean, if Kawhi Leonard is available to them, they're like, no, we're good. We're good. I mean, people have no nuance on social media.
So they'll take Kawhi then. Let's say in that hypothetical.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll take Kawhi Leonard. I would think. I would think if they, prime Michael Jordan showed up, they're not going to say no, we're good. I mean, it's one of these debates that makes for interesting fodder, and then it ends up in Shannon Sharp's mouth, like Hero for Harden, and you're like, oh my God. So it's why you can't say anything anymore because everybody takes it totally out of context. I mean, even the Hero stuff, which Sean knows, Ira and I said there, was taken totally out of context. I mean, we never said anything about the girlfriend. We never said anything about, that he wasn't working hard. We just said that his focus wasn't where the Heat wanted it to be this season. And I can tell you that is true. That is true. Okay. So, I mean, how people aggregate it, that can't be controlled.
Oh man, Ethan, I feel like you have you have a couple of vendettas. You've taken a little jabs at a couple of people. You take a jab at Shannon. Is the world against Ethan J. Skolnick?
Yeah. Well, I'm not calling him the great Shannon Sharp. I'll say that.
I wish I had more. Really quickly here, as I have to start to round out. Do you have any thoughts on what happened with Shannon? I think that was last week, with everything that happened. If you saw it.
Oh, which one are you talking about?
The Julio stuff.
Oh, I mean, it's disgusting. I mean, I don't. But again, this is a problem. These are not journalism shows, right? I mean, they're designed to infuriate and create debate. That's what they're supposed to do. And so the rules of journalism, which is you don't put someone on the air unless they know they're on the air, apparently do not apply. So, I mean, but it's not just him. I mean, they all would have done it. I mean, right. All the people on those shows would have done it. So it's not – this is picking on Shannon Sharp. I mean, he's no worse than – I mean, at least he played. I mean, he's no worse than Bayless. Coward. Coward, it may be the least informed of all of them. It's just that's what sells, and that's fine. Look, I can't really rail against it. It's just, I mean, it is what it is these days. You just ignore it. You just try to provide better content. I think that ultimately what's going to happen, and we see it with Osaka, although she has a perfectly legitimate reason not to do it, is that more and more athletes are just going to shut the media out completely. And I'm at the point where I really don't blame them. And part of the problem is that there is no distinction now between trained journalists and everybody else. And so as a result of that, everybody gets grouped together, and it's just the media. And so, yeah, I mean, if you have somebody who doesn't follow the rules, then everybody else is going to pay for it. And, I'm not a fan of Kyrie Irving personally. I dealt with him for a year in Cleveland. But I kind of understand his point now. And right. I certainly understand what Osaka is getting at. And I do think that's where we're headed. And I think that the real journalists are going to be disappointed once COVID passes that things are not going to go back to the way they were. I think locker room access is going to be significantly limited, maybe not as much as now, but compared to what it used to be. Because I just think that the teams have decided we don't really need the media anymore. We can put out our own message. And honestly, at this point, I used to fight it, but at this point, I don't blame them.
Ethan, thanks so much for coming on, man. I appreciate it. Of course, you can follow the great Ethan J. Skolnick on Twitter, and of course, follow him with all the 5 Reasons stuff. Ethan, I will talk to you later, man.
Thank you, sir.
You're listening to the only locally owned sports station in South Florida. Of course, this is OnsideRadio.com.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
When you're looking for curtains and blinds to create a space of your own, look no further than Bandalux. Bandalux can tailor your space to your needs. Create the atmosphere and ambiance you desire. We invite you to discover it at Bandalux.com. Explore our new solar control systems, range of sustainable fabrics, and energy-efficient solutions that can improve your well-being and quality of life. Witness Bandalux Beauty. Go to Bandalux.com or follow them on Instagram at Bandalux_official. For a personal experience, A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie and Sunrise is an official Bandalux partner.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at Caneswear.com or InnerMiamiWear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop. Inter Miami CF fans, join us at our new home this season for all away games as we broadcast live at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company, 1901 North Federal Highway in Pompano Beach. Join Big O and Alex Dono for the live pregame, halftime, and postgame shows while we watch the games. Enjoy meticulously brewed beer on site, delicious artisanal pizzas, live music, and giveaways. So, the new home for all Inter Miami road games is at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company at the Pompano City Mall, where they'll feature all the Inter Miami games. Follow them on Twitter at Dangerous Minds B and Facebook and Instagram at Dangerous Minds Brewing, and visit them at dangerousmindsbrewing.com. There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
If you're looking for a change from the everyday restaurant, then you need to get to Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach. Brats, Wiener Schnitzel, homemade potato pancakes, pretzels with mustard, and lots of German beer. Take their famous Boot Tour Challenge, and there's now outdoor seating available in their new beer garden with live music. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Checkers Old Munchin Restaurant, or call them for reservations or pickup at 954-785-7565. So get over to 2209 East Atlantic Boulevard in Pompano Beach to Zagat-rated Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant.
Now that it's springtime, it's only getting hotter here in South Florida. Make sure your AC in your home or business is running smoothly by investing in a preventative maintenance plan from M&S Air Conditioning. And M&S is a Mitsubishi Diamond Elite contractor. When you purchase a new Mitsubishi electric mini split system, you'll get a 12-year warranty. Or install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit that captures and destroys biological contaminants to improve air quality. M&S Air Conditioning have been providing prompt, honest, and reliable service for over 30 years. Schedule service or call to get more info on our preventative maintenance plans. Call 954-421-3680 or visit ac-florida.com.
Fish fans, time to reel in the latest news in baseball with OnsideRadio.com's Marlins Minute. Here's Alex Aguirre.
The Miami Marlins road trip continues today as they take on the Toronto Blue Jays for some more interleague action. The Fish had the day off yesterday traveling, but instead of going to Canada, they arrived in Buffalo, New York at Salem Field, the temporary home for the Blue Jays. Tonight, Sandy Alcantara will be on the mound for Miami looking for his third win on the season, and he'll be facing off against the left-hander for Toronto, Robbie Ray. The Marlins offense struggling has been the theme throughout the season, and it's been highlighted in the last 5 games, only scoring 9 runs and going 1-4 in that span. It doesn't help that their left side of the infield with Miguel Rojas and Brian Anderson are out on the IL. Just like Miami, Toronto has had their fair share of injuries, and this 2-game series will now feature Kevin Biggio and George Springer. Miami has a chance to close the gap in the NL East against a struggling Blue Jays squad, as they are currently only 4.5 games behind the New York Mets for the division lead. First pitch is at 7:10. Let's go Fish.
Keep up with the latest on the Miami Marlins by subscribing on most platforms by searching Onside Radio. Let's get back to Kai's Corner. You can send Kai a text at 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Kai Chen Chisholm.
All right. Get ready to do our roundtable here. Big thanks to Ethan Skolnick, the great Ethan J. Skolnick, for coming on and talking with me there. Of course, you can find his show with Ira Winderman here, Inside the Paint, sponsored by Pallet Rack City here every Monday. So, Tuesday's roundtable. Duncan Robinson is headed to free agency. His salary could be in the neighborhood of $4 to $5 year deal. God, I wish it was $4 to $5 million. Worth $70 to $80 million in total. Should Miami keep him at that rate, and is he worth it? No and no. I think that the Miami Heat can find sharpshooters, and they've shown the ability to do so multiple times throughout their time as an organization, and I think that they're going to be fine. I think Duncan is very consistently inconsistent, and he will have streaks of hot in which he is unstoppable, and he'll have streaks of cold in which he is unplayable. On defense, you've already seen that he's been unplayable at times, and it just makes it even worse. I think that you do not bring him back. And anything that is him making over, like, my barrier would have to be $16 to $17 million, and maybe like a 3-year deal with a 4th year either player or team. I cannot put him on a long-term deal making upwards of $20 million a year. I cannot do that. I don't feel comfortable doing that. If I'm the Miami Heat, I'm sure that they don't feel comfortable doing that. If they do it, by all means, they should do that. But then it's their choice, of course. But if I'm the Miami Heat, there is no way that I give that sort of money to Duncan Robinson. And that is all for that round table segment. We're going to round out hour 1 and then get into hour 2, where we'll talk with Omar Kelly, a part of our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report. Every Saturday at 11 a.m., soccer fans can connect with Austin Roblard and Red Card Radio. From the Premiership to the MLS, catch up with your favorite team, including our very own Enter Miami CF. Listen to Red Card Radio every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. with Austin Roblard, exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
Now that it's springtime, it's only getting hotter here in South Florida. Make sure your AC in your home or business is running smoothly by investing in a preventative maintenance plan from M&S Air Conditioning. And M&S is a Mitsubishi Diamond Elite contractor. When you purchase a new Mitsubishi electric mini split system, you'll get a 12-year warranty. Or install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit that captures and destroys biological contaminants to improve air quality. M&S Air Conditioning have been providing prompt, honest, and reliable service for over 30 years. Schedule service or call to get more info on our preventative maintenance plans. Call 954-421-3680 or visit ac-florida.com.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse?
Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph when blam! Ran right into the side of the saloon.
Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
This is the official home of Inter Miami CF.
Higuain will now take. His strike is a decent one. It's fired into the top right corner. Gonzalo Higuain opens his account for Inter Miami.
OnsideRadio.com. Follow us on social media at Onside Radio.
Hey, it's Toast. Last year when I had PGT custom windows and doors installed in my house by B&T Windows and Doors, I knew about the hurricane protection. What I didn't know? The silence. Oh my goodness, my house is so quiet now. One of those cars goes tearing down the street with the crazy loud muffler. Yeah, I don't hear it anymore. It's unbelievable. I didn't realize how noisy my house was beforehand. You've got to get PGT custom windows and doors installed in your pad today. Call B&T Windows and Doors, 954-233-0126. That's 954-233-0126.
Let's raise a cup to the first among us who put themselves last. To the risk takers, the mask makers, the heroes on the front line and online. To the ones keeping shelves full and keeping us hopeful. To those who don't stop and those making all the stops. To the ones who pick up, suit up, and never let us down. From all of us at Duncan to all the heroes keeping everyone running, we thank you.
OnsideRadio.com knows gamers need a home.
Can you dig it?
That's why for the next 60 seconds,
Can you count, suckers?
here's your Onside Radio E-Report with Kai Chen Chisholm.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin, a striker for Everton, has now donned himself onto esports. He's become an esports ambassador for Semper Fortis, and this is a big announcement as it's yet another player in big name sports getting into esports. He made a comment on this saying, quote, esports has been on my radar for quite a while now, and I'm excited to take my first steps into the space with Semper Fortis. As an athlete, being competitive is part of my DNA, so it's great to be an ambassador for a brand that is striving for the best. Again, this is very huge for esports as you get yet another big name player, especially in Europe in the world of football, into the esports game, getting everything they possibly can developed into it so that not only is it looked at by someone that guys like myself, Michael, and Toast love to play on a daily basis, but by everybody worldwide.
Stay in touch in the world of gaming with the Onside Radio E-Report.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of Onside Radio ownership, management, sponsors, websites, or Inter Miami Marketing, LLC.
It's time for Kai's Corner on OnsideRadio.com. To talk to Kai, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. To reach out on the text line, it's 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Kai Chen Chisholm on your home for sports talk, OnsideRadio.com.
Threw me off. Hour 2. Shout out Sean Stanley. The great Sean Stanley is what we're going to say. No. It's only for Ethan?
Yes, sir.
Ethan's the only one that can be the great?
There's the great, thou great.
Thy great?
Thy great. Okay, there's 4.
Yeah. There's a lot. Well, welcome to Hour 2. If you're listening in podcast form, welcome to the segment that you clicked on with a name that will most likely have to do with soccer. I'm going to have... Oh, wait. This is a fun situation here. So, Sean, there's a lot of soccer stuff going on. I've covered a good amount of certain things I want to talk about, but there's a lot of soccer stuff coming on, and we talked about it with Toast in the crosstalk, and a lot of it was there's Carlo Ancelotti, who is now going from Everton to Real Madrid possibly, and that's after Real Madrid went out and came to an agreement with Zinedine Zidane that he would be leaving, and he left, and then Juventus already hired a coach, and what a, we talked about it a little bit before, and what a shame for Jose Mourinho, because he took that Roma job super quickly, and man, Juventus opens up, Real Madrid opens up, Lazio is now open, Inter Milan was open. He had so many chances to go out there and to get one of those big jobs, coming off being sacked by Tottenham. Even imagine if he's available and Mauricio Pochettino wants to go back to Spurs, like it's reported that he might go back to Spurs, right? PSG's open. Like there was a lot that could have happened for Jose Mourinho, and instead he's at Roma, which is not a bad gig, but like the great one as they call him. Come on, he should not be there at Roma. But another topic of conversation with that and within Carlos Ancelotti is, I think, like, if you're Ancelotti, you think about where you've been going recently, and I want to make sure that I get this correct on what's going to happen. So Fabrizio Romano already said, and he tweeted this out about 2 hours ago, Carlo Ancelotti to Real Madrid, here we go. That always means that's going to happen. It says, the agreement on the termination of his contract with Everton is set to be completed. The two clubs are in direct contact with are under contact, then Carlo will rejoin Real Madrid, and Real Madrid will announce it sooner rather than later. So he's going to be moving on from Everton. He's going to be going back to Real Madrid, which he spent 2 seasons there, or I guess technically 3, 2013, 2014, 2015, after being at Paris Saint-Germain. Of course, he was at Chelsea, he was at Milan, he was at Juventus, he was at Parma. But kind of think about this route that Ancelotti has gone down. He was at one of the biggest clubs in the world in Real Madrid. Then he goes to Bayern Munich. He's there with Bayern Munich, and he, after leaving Real Madrid, goes to Bayern Munich and goes, all right, cool, this is great. I'm at Bayern Munich, and then has poor starts to the season, has poor runs of form, gets blown out by a PSG team in France at the Parc des Princes 3-0 to get knocked out of the Champions League, gets sacked immediately after he left a bunch of key players in the stands. I mean, a bunch of key players, either in the stands or on the bench. Then he's at Napoli for like a very small period of time, and then got sacked very quickly thereafter. So that was another one. It was like, okay, like they won their last game there at Napoli, and I remember when that happened. They won their last game in the group stage 4-0, and then was immediately sacked. Just like, okay. All right, so he's gone. Then he got hired to be the manager of Everton, and he's done I think a pretty good job at Everton. He hasn't been fantastic, but he's done like a pretty good job for what he's had to deal with, and he got a lot out of James Rodriguez, which was great because there's another whole thing going on with James right now, but he got a lot out of James off the start. He got a lot out of a lot of these players off the start that really I don't think anyone could have ever expected from Carlo Ancelotti, and no one would have really expected Carlo Ancelotti to be at Everton anyways. I don't even know, like, my biggest question right now with a lot of these coaches, a lot of these players, and kind of how world football is being structured. If you're Carlo Ancelotti, if you are I guess Sergio Aguero's on the down, the downtrend of his career, but some of these players where you're in this situation where you're going to be coming to one of these clubs like a Real Madrid, like a Barcelona, they're not on the high end of things right now. Like, Barcelona is in major, I don't even know how they have the funds to sign. They just signed 2 players. I have no idea how, and on freeze, but no idea how they have that money. They're in significant debt. They'll most likely have to probably sell Ousmane Dembele, and that's if someone takes that. They're reportedly trying to get Liverpool to wipe the rest of the $50 million they owe because for Philippe Coutinho, who won the Champions League with Bayern Munich, scored 2 goals against him against Barcelona while he was on loan. Funny enough, because anyways. And Coutinho, by the way, before he got injured, he's been doing a horrible injury. Was in a great run of form for Barcelona as well before he got injured this past season. But they're trying to get out of that $50 million and saying, here, how about you just don't have us pay this $50 million and we'll give you back Philippe Coutinho. Talking to Liverpool. So they still owe Liverpool $50 million or 50 million euros. They're going to have to sell Ousmane Dembele probably. They bought him for like 100 million euros. You also will probably have to sell Frankie de Jong. You're going to be losing a lot of your defensive players. I don't know how they're still signing people. You're dealing with all this stuff with the Super League and everything wrong there. It is making no sense to me why you're going to go out there and make that move. Maybe if you're Ancelotti, you're going back and that's something you're familiar with and you think you can kind of change things and how they're going at Real Madrid at the moment, even though they finished above Barcelona and Atletico Madrid get the league title and all the things. But it's not a good situation and it's not a good team. I don't understand a lot of the movement. For Ancelotti, I get it though, but some of it I don't understand. Then the other thing is, and this is a huge one, because we talked about last week with Dono, or it might have been 2 weeks ago with Dono, how the groups, for Germany, France, Portugal, and Hungary is really, really hard. Hungary have been on the rise for quite some time, and they were able to get out of the Euros. They topped their Euro group that had Portugal in it, actually, in the 2016 Euros. Of course, Portugal went on to win the whole thing over France in France. Germany even with their 2018 World Cup failure, they're still a powerhouse. And France, of course, is the latest World Cup winner, so they're on top of the world, no matter what. They're just on top of the world. They are the World Cup winners. It is what it is. Until they are relinquished from that, they're on top of the world. So these are amazing teams. And then, of course, you're facing Portugal again. Well, Hungary is going to be in a very, very, very bad position. It has recently been announced that their star player, someone who has been a very good young and up-and-comer in the Bundesliga now after going from RB Salzburg to RB Leipzig, and Dominik Szoboszlai, he has been ruled out of the Euros with an injury. That is huge news because they desperately need him. That has been reported here recently that he will be out of the tournament with an injury. And if that is confirmed to be true here, and he really has been, gets ruled out here, if it's true, the announcement will probably come within a few hours, maybe a day. That's bad news. And even, actually, it has been confirmed, and this by our buddy, Ronan Murphy. He says RB Leipzig's Dominik Szoboszlai has withdrawn from the Hungary squad due to an injury problem that he's dealing with. It's huge. That is a huge, huge loss to Hungary, and he's been insane. I mean, he has been outstanding for RB Leipzig, and he was really good for Salzburg and Austria. It's huge that he is not going to be there for the Hungarian. And I want to ask you, Sean, can you spell or have any idea of how this man's name is spelled? I feel like this is a very interesting thing. It's Dominik Szoboszlai. Do you have any guess on how his last name is spelled?
Say it one more time.
Dominik Szoboszlai.
His last name is that whole thing?
So his first name is Dominik.
Yep.
His last name is Szoboszlai.
All right, Szoboszlai.
Yes.
All right. S-A?
No.
Oh, that's one of those little, that's got like something in the front of the S.
Yeah.
It's probably like an H or an S.
So it's Szoboszlai.
That was close.
Yeah, you were actually kind of. He is insane, by the way. I mean, as a player. He's a very young player right now still, but he is extremely, extremely good. And he's one of the up-and-comers in European football. It is a huge, huge loss to have him out. I think some people aren't going to really be able to understand how big of a loss that is because maybe you don't watch Hungary play or you don't watch the Bundesliga. He is a huge, huge player for RB Leipzig and a very huge player for what's going to happen with Hungary. And they're going to be without him. And again, that was a team in Hungary that has been on a rise ever since they started really well in world football. They were one of the most dominant powerhouses in the 60s of world football, like the 50s and 60s in world football. And they just really could not get anything going at all for multiple years. Finally, they get to a Euros, and they topped their group in the Euros. They didn't do well after that, but they topped their group that had Portugal, the eventual winners in it, and they did fantastic. They did a fantastic job. And to have a nice, very, very skillful, young and up-and-coming player on your team that is now eventually going to have to miss it because of continuous injuries being reported. This by Ronan Murphy and Kicker. He said according to Kicker, but being retweeted by Ronan Murphy there. That's a huge loss, and that's going to be really, really detrimental to Hungary and their chances of getting out of the group. I mean, already, even with the fact that they've been a much better side than they used to be, and a much better side here in recent years than they used to be, losing Dominik from this right now, it just makes things a lot harder on their team, and I think it's going to make things a lot worse for trying to have kind of a chance of getting out, because already what you think is going to happen in the group stage is probably France tops the group, Germany in second, Portugal in third, probably with the top 3 most points or 4 most points. So they'll probably move on because regardless, I think eventually all 3 of the teams, France, Germany, and Portugal, will end up moving on out of the group stages. And you're thinking Hungary's going to be last and fourth anyways. But if they had a chance, for sure, that would all be relying on Dominic Szoboszlai. So coming up next, we'll talk a little bit more about some things in the sports world, and then we'll have our conversation. We're part of our EGDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report with Omar Kelly in a segment after this upcoming one. Onside Radio understands gaming is a big part of the sports landscape. That's why every day we keep you updated with some of the latest gaming news with Onside Radio's E-Minute, hosted by Toast, myself, and Michael Christian. If you miss it, it's podcasted daily. Search Onside Radio on all platforms. Subscribe, rate, and review. OnsideRadio.com, the station gamers call home.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
If you're looking for a change from the everyday restaurant, then you need to get to Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach. Brats, Wiener Schnitzel, homemade potato pancakes, pretzels with mustard, and lots of German beer. And with daily specials, there is something for everyone. If you're up for a challenge, you should take their famous boot tour. Finish 30 boots of different varieties of German beer, and you'll receive half price on their beer for life. And you'll get to take home your own boot and Checkers Old Munchin t-shirt. They also have outdoor seating available in their new beer garden with live music, as well as carry-out, curbside pickup, and delivery. So, for the finest German food and beer, get over to 2209 East Atlantic Boulevard in Pompano Beach. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Checkers Old Munchin Restaurant, or call them for reservations at 954-785-7565. That's 954-785-7565. We'll see you at Zagat-rated Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
WLEN, broadcasting from a largely empty building.
And we do sports. It's just not local.
Shush, honey.
Why is the building empty?
Because whether it be budget cuts or stupid management, we've fired almost everybody.
Ooh, but we still have our job live and local.
At least the building is.
We've got your sports.
South Florida's choice for sports talk. OnsideRadio.com.
When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than the roof above the people you love. At Onside Radio, we recommend Chase Roofing and Contracting. At ChaseRoofing.com, they care about the customer. Chase Roofing provides reliable roof installation and repair without the destruction to our environment. Chase Roofing is powered by Tamara, who is owner and operated for 18 years. ChaseRoofing.com is Google top rated and a AAA standing with the Better Business Bureau. Open 24/7. Call them today. Trust ChaseRoofing.com to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family.
This Inter Miami CF Minute is brought to you by Stout Bar and Grill in Oakland Park. With over 40 TVs, Stout is the home for soccer around the world and a great place to watch Inter Miami CF. Stout features Clonakilty Whiskies, the world's best Irish whiskey.
A name that was left out of the loss to DC United at Drive Pink Stadium on Saturday night was Rodolfo Pizarro for the second time in a row. He missed the Chicago game and did not make the trip due to a so-called injury. And again, due to a so-called injury, Rodolfo Pizarro was not in the starting 11 or even in the squad. We have to hope that our third DP is okay. After not being called up to El Tri, the Mexican national team, and now with a couple of injuries, hopefully he can come back a lot stronger than he did after his poor performances this season and really make an impact for a team that needs him.
Keep up with the latest on La Rosa Negra by subscribing on most platforms. Search Onside Radio. Let's get back to Kai's Corner. You can send Kai a text at 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Kai Chen Chisholm.
Here I am, Kai Chen Chisholm. What's up, Sean Stanley?
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. I want to ask you. I was sitting here and I was like, there's another thing I meant to talk about. I can't remember what it was. And I wanted to ask Sean his thoughts. And it isn't sports related, but I think it's pretty funny. Or not, maybe not funny, but it's very interesting here as we get ready to have this little segment before we get in with Omar Kelly, a part of the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report here on Onside Radio. Have you seen the video of the lady pushing her bear off of her fence wall, like kind of concrete wall that she has, in order to save her dogs because her dogs were trying to fight said bear? This is something that's been on Twitter now. I
have yet to see this video.
I'm going to send it to you now so you can watch it here. And it is literally like there's a bear climbing up the wall, and the woman who is in the video, she runs up to the bear and pretty much yeets it off the wall and then gets her dogs out of the area. It's like a bear, and I'm guessing like the cub of the bear, and the bear's trying to attack the dog. The dogs are trying to attack the bear, and she comes by and she literally shoves the bear off the wall, then grabs her dogs and runs. It's pretty... I think it's like... It's crazy. Apparently... Oh, wait, this is even better. Reading into it. Apparently the woman in question is 17 years old. All right. That... If she really is 17, that's a lot of courage. 17-year-old, imagine at 17 years old going out there and to save your dogs, you run and push a bear off of the wall like that.
But also, I don't know if you noticed it, but the bear had cubs.
Yeah, that's
so
what I'm saying.
I think the bear also was thinking he was protecting his family, because the bear's trying to get out of the yard.
Yeah,
and the dogs are kind of going that way. So I'm wondering if the bear was trying.
It's
to
the big
protect
dog
his
that
cubs
first definitely got into it, and then like it's just one of those. I think it's one of those crazy things.
Like where you don't think, you kind of just react, and not necessarily it was the smartest thing to do, but it worked.
Just imagine that bear like grabs her while she's like trying to push down and grabs her by the head. Like
it was on the fence trying
guard.
to balance. No, the thing was the bear was on the fence, and it's not a big fence, and she got the right angle and pushed them off, and they were able to get all the dogs inside, and the bear just hopped on the gate and left.
How do you think the bear even gets there? Like there's also like if you look in the right corner of the screen, there's like a dog or a cat in the other yard that the bear's trying to get out of as well. You think the bear was being attacked by dogs as it was there, and then the bear just was fighting back as well? Well, it looks like that's like either a dog or a cat, something like at about like 15 seconds, running on the other side as well. Looks like it's a dog. I find that, I think it goes into the other thing. It's like, how much would you get knocked out for? For me, when I look at this, it's like, if I ever find myself in that situation, I'm so glad this was caught on video. I could never imagine. Also, while looking at still shot, there's no way this person's 17 years old. The Twitter comments have to be lying. She's got like gray hair. Like, come on. There's no way she's 17. But, actually, maybe, never mind. But like, that's just, I don't think I'd ever be able to shut up talking about it. Oh yeah, that person who shoved the bear off the fence to save her dogs? That's me. I would never be able to stop talking about that. I just find that crazy. Like shoving off a bear, and that's just your story for the day. What'd you do today? Well, I was chilling, and then I saw on my ring that there was a bear climbing up my wall, and then my dog started attacking it, and it started to attack my dog. So I don't know, I ran out there and I just shoved the bear off the fence, off the gate fence wall, and moved on with my day. I just think that's crazy. But we're getting ready here. In just under 10 minutes, we'll be talking with Omar Kelly, a part of our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report. I'm very excited to talk to Omar because it's getting into those times now where everything's going to be very interesting. But I think the most interesting thing to think about right now is today is June 1st. And with it being June 1st, that also means that cuts will probably end up coming out here soon. And I want to know if Omar thinks. I remember after the draft, we talked with Omar about it because the Dolphins were very keen on mentioning that Javon Holland and Jalen Waddle could return kicks. And then we had a situation last week where Jakeem Grant's agent had quote tweeted someone about that specific thing, about how the Dolphins want Jalen Waddle to be taking kicks back. And he said, you have an all-pro returner, kind of stupid, essentially, is like the paraphrased version of that. So does Omar think that we're going to see the last of Jakeem Grant? We break down the salary cap. It's one of my most favorite things to do here, and we're kind of projecting what the Dolphins are going to need to do in order to get to their cap number to be able to sign all their guys still. And obviously want to get Omar's take on it. Omar, of course, being more of a inside the numbers type of thing. I'm sure that he has a lot. I'm sure he has a lot that he can talk about with other certain numbers as well. So that'll be interesting to get his insight. And that's why, we have him here to get the insight that he's going to provide and to make sure that we get a lot of that great insight here. I laughed there because in the middle of me talking and having that conversation in the middle of that, I saw someone tweet out, and I think it's pretty funny. Someone tweets out under the Dolphins tweet, they said, last name Baker, talking about Jerome Baker. Content is a gift that keeps on giving. Because it's just, the NFL UK tweeting out another film about him saying, where's my mom? Where's my mom? I'm trying to find my mom. And then him singing on the sidelines and stuff like that. And someone tweets under it and says, can't wait for y'all to cut Jakeem Grant in a few hours. So, hey, here it is. The Jakeem Grant propaganda has begun or restarted. And I am very proud to be a part of that train of Jakeem Grant slander. And he will soon be on his way out with the Miami Dolphins. We're projecting. I mean, who really knows? And maybe Omar has some information on that he can divulge with us. And maybe he has a little ins on some players that might be out, might be in. Who really knows? We'll find out with Omar Kelly here coming up next. Sports fans can always catch up with all of our daily segments by subscribing to Onside Radio on most platforms. Listen to us discuss the hottest topics on the roundtable, and you can also find that out tweeted daily by the Onside Radio account if you do miss it. You can also find the esports report that we do with the E-Minute for all esports fans. Panthers fans, you can catch reporter David Dwork as he provides his insight. Austin Robillard talks about Inter Miami CF and gives that passion that you deserve to hear, and he's very deep into that. And then, of course, Alex Aguirre provides the insight Marlins fans deserve with his Marlins Minute. Subscribe, rate, and review to Onside Radio on all platforms, or most platforms, the station that has the passion South Florida fans deserve.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
When you want a perfectly straight smile without braces, you can count on MoodyAsDental.com. A stunning smile is within reach. Learn more about Invisalign. Find out why so many trust the Moody Ass family. Dr. Moody Ass is an inventor and has several patents on innovative surgical instruments that are used around the world. Experience a family environment and trust on a worldwide level. From implants to crowns to a beautiful Invisalign smile. Call 305-821-0231. That's 305-821-0231. Or go to the website at MoodyAsDental.com.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Miami Lakes location at 15462 Northwest 77th Court, located in the Ryan Oaks Plaza. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
WLESPN. We've got all your sports.
We're live and local.
If you wake up early enough.
You're so bad, honey.
Tune us in, as long as you're not under a bridge.
Or under any power line.
Ain't it awful?
South Florida's choice for sports talk. OnSideRadio.com.
Hey, what's up? It's Toast, and I've been telling you guys all about my buddies over at B&T Windows and Doors. And some of you said, hey, listen, Toast, I'd love to get PGT custom windows and doors installed, but funds are a little tight right now. No problem, bro. Y Green. You can finance it with B&T Windows and Doors through Y Green, so you can still get your PGT custom windows and doors installed. And yeah, you're not going to have to put anything down. It's awesome. That's the way I got mine installed. Call B&T Windows and Doors today. They'll tell you all about Y Green and how to finance your windows. 954-233-0126. That's 954-233-0126.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
When you're looking to add that extra style and protection for your home or business, visit a shade above window fashions in Davie or Sunrise, where plantation shutters are a major part of our business, and they look great in any home. We have them in white, stained colors, and wood tones. We can even motorize your shutters like the one in the OnSideRadio.com studio. A shade above window fashions, 954-434-4774. That's 954-434-4774. Love the space you live in. A shade above window fashions.
Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnSideRadio.com sports update.
The Miami Marlins are traveling to the great city of Buffalo to take on the Toronto Blue Jays. Sandy Alcantara will be on the mound for the Fish. First pitch scheduled for 7:07. Last night in the NBA playoffs, the Washington Wizards stayed alive with a 122-114 win over the 76ers. Joel Embiid left the game late in the first quarter with a sore right knee. The Utah Jazz, they took commanding 3-1 lead after a 120-113 victory over the Memphis Grizzlies. Tonight's games, Brooklyn looks to eliminate the Celtics at 7:30. The Nets are 12.5-point favorites. Portland and Denver tip off at 9. The series tied at 2. The Nuggets 1.5-point favorites. And the Lakers and Suns, they'll tip off at 10, with the Suns right now a 5-point favorite. AD is questionable for the game, and Naomi Osaka has withdrawn from the French Open. You are listening to the only locally owned South Florida sports talk station. This is OnSideRadio.com.
Brace yourself. You might not hear what you want. You can always expect Omar to keep it real, whether you like it or not. It's time for the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report with Sun Sentinel writer Omar Kelly. EJD is your one-stop shop, custom home builder, and general contractor for residential construction. Call them 305-433-4843. Find them on Facebook at EJD Construction. Here's Omar Kelly with your Miami Dolphins report segment.
As you just heard, ready to have on Omar Kelly. Of course, you can follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly. Omar, how's it going, man?
I'm good. I had a peaceful Memorial Day weekend. Didn't do actually, I worked on Sunday, so I can't say I didn't do a lick of work. But I was taking a vacation from Dolphins land, and now it's back on the grind.
I mean, we're still kind of in a little bit of a vacation, I guess, right? Well, I guess today's June 1st, so who knows what's really going to happen. Not really too much noise just here yet, but we're assuming that the Dolphins are going to start getting some players off the books here, right?
No, actually not. I would not expect them to. It's not like you got to cut them on June 1st to designate them as a June 1st cut. And keep in mind, I'm not 100% certain if there was a rule. You get one June 1st designation, and you did not have to wait till June 1st. And I thought that would be Kyle Van Noy. However, the organization, they did a number of moves. I can name you three in particular. Not designating Kyle Van Noy as a June 1st cut, not designating Bobby McCain as a June 1st cut, the contract of Jason Saunders, which was just good contract, but they could have made it a lot more team-friendly. And then Will Fuller, if they would have put a voidable fake second year in the contract, they could have lowered their cap number significantly, but they chose not to because it seems like this team wants to carry their debt this year. They want to pay off the credit card as opposed to carrying it over to next year.
So you don't think that maybe not today, but you think that we'll be getting something at least soon?
No, I don't think so. I think you'll see them carry what they have to training camp. Particularly, I'm assuming you're referring to Jakeem Grant, as everybody's on this Jakeem Grant watch, including myself. I think they'll carry Jakeem into training camp. There's more of a likelihood that they will trade Jakeem than cut him. I mean, you can get a you can get a move up in the 7th round. You can get a guy that's going to be waived that you would rather not have to go through the waiver wires for Jakeem Grant. If there's a team that's out there that's going to need another receiver or need another kickoff returner, and let's not be even though I'm not the biggest Jakeem Grant fan for the reasons I don't like inconsistent receivers who struggle to catch, and I'm not a believer in the gimmick players. He is still the franchise's most effective and efficient kickoff returner, 5 touchdowns during his career. So let's not act like he's chopped liver, like we're just going to cut him down. It's really just a matter of you've probably got about 10 receivers on this 53-man roster who belong to play in the NFL next season, and you can't really carry all of them.
Do you think there's a potential for some of these other guys, maybe like an Albert Wilson or an Allen Hurns, not be carried into the season?
No, I think you're going to. When I look at the history of my years of covering the Dolphins, they always run thin when training camp happens at receiver and at cornerback. Why? Because those are the positions that are absolutely the most during training camp. If you're always running a 40-yard sprint every other snap, more than likely there'll be injuries that happen. And if you just look at where they were coming out of last year's training camp, Byron was hurt. Xavier Howard was coming back from a knee injury. I believe there was another cornerback. Noah was hurt. And then at wide receiver, they lost the 2 to opt-outs. Then they had to sign, I believe it was 3 before training camp started or the first week of training camp. So I don't think you could ever have enough receivers and enough cornerbacks, and I think you'll continue to see this team continue to collect them along with running backs. They've always run out of running backs too.
Well, who do you think, I guess, is the biggest name, if you have any, to look out? Not just in maybe the receiving room, but just someone that maybe you've been able to sit down and kind of look at, and you're like, you know what, this is someone that maybe not a lot of Dolphins fans or Dolphins media or anyone is talking about that you think could be like a major contributor for this team? If there is any.
You asked that question. Yeah, Jesse Davis. Like the disrespect that has been put on Jesse Davis's name for not being a sexy draft pick or being part of a really inconsistent line is bothersome to me. It's disrespectful. I could tell you it hasn't been a game where Jesse Davis has been a liability to this team when he started, and he started 50-something games, including the time that he goes to left tackle. Yeah, there have been instances where he's given up a sack or had a bad play. Maybe I just guess 5 bad plays a game, which, isn't tremendously a high level. But the fact that people think that he's a liability or he doesn't deserve to be a starter or he shouldn't be on this roster or he's making too much money, those people I want to slap because they just don't know. They don't know football. They don't know what the hell they're looking at.
Do you think it's just kind of do you think it's like maybe the PTSD from people looking at the Dolphins O-line not having been outstanding for quite some time now?
No, I think it's one, people are very, when I deal with my Twitter base, I think that I've worked very hard and diligently to help my Twitter base understand that the real game is played at the line of scrimmage. You do not have to follow the ball or watch the ball on every snap to know what's going on or to see the beauty in football. And so I've tried to work very hard to educate people to stop being ball watchers. If something happens with the ball, you're going to see it. It's going to be replayed. The minute the ball is thrown, you follow your eyes. But when the ball is snapped, watch the trenches. It's beautiful. It's elegant. It's like 300-pound bears dancing. And the hand placement, the movement, the cuts, the swim moves, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And you can generally tell when a good play is going to happen based on what happens at the trenches, whether it's offensive or defensive. But I really don't think that a lot of people do a good enough job watching the trenches, understanding what goes on, and then a lot of people just parrot what other people say. Some people don't like Jesse Davis. I can tell you, Solomon Kinley was the worst performer on the offensive line last year. You don't hear that from anybody in the media because they don't watch the offensive line, so they can't really tell you that. There's a reason why, he's going to be the guy that's really got an uphill battle to retain his starting spot next year. Right. It's because performance-based. Because he can't do the things that you need to do. He's not athletic enough to really be a movement kind of guard, and he wasn't bullying people to move them off the line of scrimmage. He was John Jerry reincarnated. But, if you hear Dolphin fans or the general media, they'll be like, oh, Solomon Kinley started all these games. Oh, Robert Hurt started all these games. Oh, Austin Jackson started all these games. They should be good in year 2. Well, there's no guarantee on that. There's zero guarantee on that. They were all average. And I'm being generous in their first season. And you can excuse that on rookie performance or whatever you want. You could excuse it on injuries, which Austin Jackson definitely. He had a good season until the knee injury. When the knee injury happened, when he came back, he was average. And let's hope he takes that next step. But the general fan, they have no clue what's going on offensive line. And I will tell you that this team's success and failure does not ride on Tua's shoulders. It rides on the offensive line's performance.
Speaking of Tua, what do you – I know, and we're talking with Omar Kelly here, part of our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report. What do you make, Omar, of, I guess, the honesty of Tua? Everyone's been talking about kind of how he was in that press conference and him and some of his quotes, some being kind of misconstrued from what they really were. Of course, I mean, if people follow along with your Twitter and maybe some others, kind of like, I mean, in the paraphrasing, some people paraphrasing it instead of kind of reading what he said and then making kind of their thoughts on it. What do you make of how he, I guess, has been – do you get that sense, or do you guys get that sense being in those press conferences that he's being maybe a little bit more honest than you would think that he would be?
No, I think if you listen to every rookie quarterback, if not rookie performer, coming off their first year, they'll tell you, man, I didn't know what I didn't know. Game was moving so fast. When they're honest and in hindsight, what did you expect this not to happen? If you listen to Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow, you're getting the same thing. Mm-hmm. Tua was just very, very honest and candid, which I think is going to be throughout his career. And he's very reflective. I mean, this is not an issue that we didn't know about last season. Like Ryan Fitzpatrick said it when, I forget what game it was, maybe Oakland, the Raiders, right before or after he came in for Tua, or Denver before or after he came in for Tua. He explained to you why there is a difference between me and Tua, and this is what Tua needs to do. He painted it crystal clear for you. And the problem is Dolphin fans don't want to hear it. They got short memories. They expected a young quarterback to come in and, he's been hyped as a savior and he needs to outperform Ryan Fitzpatrick. The last I checked, Ryan Fitzpatrick was signed to a $10 million deal from a playoff team that felt like he's the quarterback that's going to get them over the hump in the playoffs. Like, that's not chopped liver. Ryan Fitzpatrick is not chopped liver. And I would argue to you that there are only 4 quarterbacks in the NFL. I can name them for you: Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and probably Ben Roethlisberger. 4 that might read defenses faster, quick enough, and more effectively than a 17-year veteran in Ryan Fitzpatrick. So, knowing that, I'm a little bothered by the fact that Tua holds himself to that standard. That's a little bit concerning to me, and I get it. He expects to be as dynamic. He expects to be a young sensation. But you're holding yourself to the standard of a 17-year veteran who started 12 seasons in the NFL. That's a lot, bro. Like, Ryan Fitzpatrick is no slouch. Like, if you're frowning upon your rookie season, which was a 6-3 record, because you couldn't match the productivity or the effectiveness of Ryan Fitzpatrick reading a defense, executing an offense, calling plays, changing things at the line of scrimmage. If that's the standard that you have for yourself, props to you, young man. But I don't expect you to get there until probably about 2 years from now.
Yeah, and I think other people look at it as well, and they kind of see it's the social media game, right? Seeing the flashes, seeing Justin Herbert go out there and have like his season. And I think that also kind of is it is what it is. I mean, I talked about it, and I want to get your thoughts on that. Actually, kind of thinking about that social media, I think that's I think personally that it's definitely changed how you look at people from every standpoint when it comes to kind of athletics and this. Like, when you see that highlight, you could go ahead and think that player is the most amazing thing in the world, and it could just be like highlight 1, 2, 3, and not their entire body of work. Do you think that has a lot to contribute to it?
I think it's a factor. I think the fact that you, as an average fan, can go watch all of the Chargers game within 30 minutes and see him, based on if you paid NFL Game Pass, I think that enhances it, but it also enhances your criticism. And if you're holding him to the standard of Justin Herbert, okay, I argue to you, what was Justin Herbert's record? Did Justin Herbert have better weaponry around him? Yeah, Justin Herbert has a cannon arm, but when I did the draft evaluation of both of those quarterbacks, and absolutely, it wasn't tough for me because of one factor. I didn't see Justin Herbert having the it factor in terms of making your team and your teammates around you better. Well, I did see Tua having the it factor, and that's why I wanted Tua. But does Tua have Justin Herbert's arm? Absolutely, hell no. Does Tua have Justin Herbert's ability? No. But he has the moxie and intangibles and tools that allow him to help his teammates around him get better. And that's the standard that we should hold him to. It helps him win, helps him produce a better record. And in year one, he produced a better record to Justin Herbert, who had phenomenal, dynamic, earth-shattering rookie statistics. Now the question is, which one of these quarterbacks is going to take the next biggest jump in the year two?
I think the other thing too is when you look, and I know for me, like getting into like getting Game Pass this season and kind of looking at things after the season had finished and going back there. For one, if anyone doesn't have Game Pass, you should get it because you can literally go play by play, go into slow motion, everything like that. It's great to be able to have and to be able to come away with your own, what you saw on a play and everything like that, right?
Absolutely.
But you go back and you watch it with Herbert. You look at his games. You go back and you watch the games with Tua, like. There were games and there were times where Herbert looked really, really bad and with the weapons that he had. And then there are times where, Tua looked poor as well. But I think that does – I know a lot of people don't want to count into the, he didn't have – like he had this and he had that and kind of not count the weapons that Herbert had. But, I mean, Herbert had some outstanding, insane weapons, and Tua just flat out did not.
No question about it. I know Tua wants to – talk up the talent around him and say that it was him last year. I'm sorry. You're playing with Devontae Parker on one leg, Mike Gesicki with one arm, Jakeem Grant. Jesus,
Can't
how I
catch.
feel about Jakeem Grant, Malcolm Perry and Lynn Bowden Jr. like that, and Durham Smythe. Like that was your team. Name me the players who weren't injured who would start for another NFL team. And I'd argue to you out of that crowd, in terms of the guys who weren't injured, maybe Lynn Bowden Jr. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's a huge if. I forgot about Mac Hollins. So it's just a reflection of who he is as a leader, that he spoke up for them. He blamed himself. He tried to fall on the sword. A lot of people got in their feelings because he said he didn't know the offense. Well, did you expect him to know the offense good enough? Did you expect him to know the offense better than Ryan Fitzpatrick, who'd played in that offense longer than any other player in his in career, who knew the offense probably better than Chan Gailey did? No, you couldn't have. So, calm down a little bit. Let's have reasonable, respectable expectations for Tua in year two.
Yep. Omar, thank you so much, man. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And hopefully we get some news here for the Dolphins, whether it's Jakeem Grant or other.
Oh, come on. Stop with the Jakeem Grant watch. Jakeem Grant isn't being released anytime soon. He's being traded.
I know.
There's no harm. He's not costing you any money on the cap right now. They're not preventing him he's not preventing him from signing any rookies. Jakeem's going to carry on and have a productive NFL career. Whether it's here totally depends on how he performs in camp.
All right, Omar, have a great rest of your day, man.
All right, talk to you later.
Talk to you later. Saturday mornings at 9 a.m., Sean Stanley hosts a Square Circle Digest. Now, wrestling fans have a place to call home as Sean covers the very colorful world of wrestling. Tune in every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. on the home for sports fans worldwide, OnSideRadio.com.
This has been the EJDConstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report with Omar Kelly. From additions to home remodeling, call Eric at 305-433-4843. Count on a company that's an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. EJDConstruction.com.
When you're looking for curtains and blinds to create a space of your own, look no further than Vandalux. Bandolux can tailor your space to your needs. Create the atmosphere and ambiance you desire. We invite you to discover it at Bandolux.com. Explore our new solar control systems, range of sustainable fabrics, and energy-efficient solutions that can improve your well-being and quality of life. Witness Bandolux Beauty. Go to Bandolux.com or follow them on Instagram at Bandolux_official. For a personal experience, A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie and Sunrise is an official Bandolux partner.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop. Inter Miami CF fans, join us at our new home this season for all away games as we broadcast live at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company, 1901 North Federal Highway in Pompano Beach. Join Big O and Alex Dono for the live pregame, halftime, and postgame shows while we watch the games. Enjoy meticulously brewed beer on site, delicious artisanal pizzas, live music, and giveaways. So, the new home for all Inter Miami road games is at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company at the Pompano City Mall, where they'll feature all the Inter Miami games. Follow them on Twitter at Dangerous Minds B and Facebook and Instagram at Dangerous Minds Brewing, and visit them at dangerousmindsbrewing.com. There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
If you're looking for a change from the everyday restaurant, then you need to get to Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach. Brats, Wiener Schnitzel, homemade potato pancakes, pretzels with mustard, and lots of German beer. Take their famous Boot Tour Challenge, and there's now outdoor seating available in their new beer garden with live music. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Checkers Old Munchin Restaurant, or call them for reservations or pickup at 954-785-7565. So get over to 2209 East Atlantic Boulevard in Pompano Beach to Zagat-rated Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant.
Now that it's springtime, it's only getting hotter here in South Florida. Make sure your AC in your home or business is running smoothly by investing in a preventative maintenance plan from M&S Air Conditioning. And M&S is a Mitsubishi Diamond Elite contractor. When you purchase a new Mitsubishi electric mini split system, you'll get a 12-year warranty. Or install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit that captures and destroys biological contaminants to improve air quality. M&S Air Conditioning have been providing prompt, honest, and reliable service for over 30 years. Schedule service or call to get more info on our preventative maintenance plans. Call 954-421-3680 or visit ac-florida.com.
Fish fans, time to reel in the latest news in baseball with OnSideRadio.com's Marlins Minute. Here's Alex Aguirre.
The Miami Marlins road trip continues today as they take on the Toronto Blue Jays for some more interleague action. The Fish had the day off yesterday traveling, but instead of going to Canada, they arrived in Buffalo, New York at Salem Field, the temporary home for the Blue Jays. Tonight, Sandy Alcantara will be on the mound for Miami looking for his third win on the season, and he'll be facing off against the left-hander for Toronto, Robbie Ray. The Marlins offense struggling has been the theme throughout the season, and it's been highlighted in the last 5 games, only scoring 9 runs and going 1-4 in that span. It doesn't help that their left side of the infield with Miguel Rojas and Brian Anderson are out on the IL. Just like Miami, Toronto has had their fair share of injuries, and this 2-game series will not feature Kevin Biggio and George Springer. Miami has a chance to close the gap in the NL East against a struggling Blue Jays squad, as they are currently only 4.5 games behind the New York Mets for the division lead. First pitch is at 7:10. Let's go Fish.
Keep up with the latest on the Miami Marlins by subscribing on most platforms by searching Onside Radio. Let's get back to Kai's Corner. You can send Kai a text at 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Kai Chen Chisholm.
All right, getting ready to round out the show. We have Big O in with us. Oh,
where?
I have to ask.
Who? What?
Do you, outside of, because I was telling Alex, there's a lot of interesting soccer on yesterday. Are you one of the ones that watch, like, you watch, Inter, obviously, and then kind of you watch Arsenal? I know you're an Arsenal fan. Sorry to bring that up.
Thank you.
And, like, the Euros, like, you watch that type of stuff, like World Cup?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I would encourage you on Thursday, the U21 Euros start up again. They played yesterday. There was a lot of great games. If you have ESPN Plus, I would tune in.
Okay.
Because yesterday,
I'll check that out.
Germany and Denmark played. It was very good. Italy and Portugal played. It was very, very good.
Germany's got a bunch of good young dudes.
Yeah, but they were dominating the game for like 70 minutes. And then Denmark just took over with pace and attack. And
happens.
But they were able to bring Germany won in penalties, so they move on. They play Netherlands, but Netherlands has a really good young team as well. It was some good stuff.
Not surprised. Although Netherlands isn't where they used to be.
No,
like
definitely not. Their biggest one
say
is Justin
like 15, 20 years ago, I want to say, when they were like
10.
Was it 10?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, then you had you had Snyder, you had Arjen Robben, you had these guys.
Robben.
There's still some good. I mean, you have De Ligt in there, you have Virgil van Dijk, you have some good players. Van de Beek, you have Frankie De Jong, Hakim Ziyech is Moroccan. You have like some guys that are there, but I mean, it's nothing. They don't have any real good attackers right now.
I mean, they were on a roll for a while, dude. They had
they missed their
the
chance
orange
in
attack
2010.
was pretty good for. They had like a nice 10-year run.
Yeah.
That from the 90s into the 2000s, that they were pretty damn good, dude.
They should have beat Spain in
2010.
2010. I mean, they that team that they had was insane.
España.
What do you have coming up on the show
Los
today?
Gallegos. Tengo a Hythe Carlin joining us. He's a Jags reporter. He's going to join us at 1 o'clock. I want to talk Tebow. I want to talk Tebow. I want to talk Tebow Mania. What the hell's going on over there?
Great things. So he hasn't dropped the ball in OTAs.
That's right, bro. Hayes is going to join us, so we'll have a little fun with him, and we'll talk some Jags, and we'll obviously touch on the Tebow subject. And then I've got a whole bunch of other things that I want to talk about locally and nationally, all kinds of good stories, and we'll get into that for the next 2 hours because, again, I'm still doing 2 hours this week because the doc wants me to do 2 hours and bring it back, slowly but surely. So I think next week we probably will kick in for 3 hours because the voice is feeling good.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's been feeling good.
Hopefully you have a great show, and hopefully the voice continues to feel good. That's always important there.
Yes. No polyps.
Catch a South Florida staple every afternoon as Alex Donald hosts the Man of the Match from 3 to 6 p.m. Donald covers everything from football to football to MMA. Tune to one of the most complete sports shows in the country with the Man of the Match with Alex Donald. 3 to 6 p.m. exclusively on OnSideRadio.com.
Release the polyps. We'll be right back to the Big O Show